So I'm going to show you guys how we print labels directly from invoices that we create using QuickBooks software. And I built a little desktop app that accomplishes this. I'm using QuickBooks for Mac. Here's the home screen on my desktop. I'll do some later tutorials on the setup for Windows versions of QuickBooks and also the online versions. This app would work also just as well if you were taking your orders directly into an Excel spreadsheet, so I'll show people how to do that later. But for now, this is how we do it on our farm. And for those of you who are already using accounting software to do your invoices, you've probably already wondered, is there some way that I can print labels for deliveries directly from these invoices that I just created? Because you end up, adding a bunch of steps. You take the orders onto a call sheet, and then that information is transferred onto a pick list, and then you're handwriting labels from the pick list maybe, and then you have to get home later or whatever you do and to do your invoices. So you're doing it again and again and again. And fair warning, this is a little bit of setup up front, but it's not a bad job for a winter day. And once you have everything all set up and the process is automated, it just saves a ton of time, and it's such a huge improvement. This last summer during the peak of the season on our farm, it was taking somebody twice a week, an hour and a half sometimes, to handwrite all those labels. And it would invariably happen during lunch. That was the only time that you could get started on it. So you'd have peanut butter all over everything, and not to mention the mistakes that start to accumulate when you're transferring all that stuff by hand from the call sheet onto the labels because somebody's talking to you and so on. So it's a big improvement, big time saver, and I'm just going to try to walk you through the steps of setup. So the first thing to think about when doing setup is that QuickBooks is basically, it's a huge database. And what we need to do is go into the database and add a couple of layers of information to every item that we sell. And here's what I mean by that. Let's create a new invoice. And we'll say that customer 1 is doing an order, and here you'll see that we have this column for items. And if we start to type an item in, I think most of you who use QuickBooks probably already have pretty much everything set up. So you'll see baby kale starts to pop up when we start typing baby. And there's a little bit of information that's associated with baby kale. Not a common crop for us, I guess, so I really don't have anything set up here. The rate is the price that's associated with baby kale. And I have a couple of extra columns that I've added here. One of them is for units, and the other is for max units per carton. And this column will not show up on the printed invoice, but I'll show you in the next video how I set this invoice up. For now, though, we're really interested in the item column. So we have an item for baby kale. And I don't think that we've ever sold baby bok choy. So let me try that. Baby bok choy, or I don't know, choy, how you spell it. Yeah, nothing there. So QuickBooks does not see this item, baby bok choy, in my item list. So there's nothing in the database. And it wants me to set that item up. So if I click Set Up, this window here appears. And I'll show you the other way to get to this window. But basically, this is all of the information that's associated with the item named baby bok choy. You can change the price, you can change the account associated with it, give it a description. I'm going to cancel out of here for now. And what I'm going to do instead is go up into the menu over here, and I'm going to drill down into lists, and I'm going to click on items. And so this is a list of all of the items that I already have set up in my crop item database. They're all of the account crop sales. So why don't I double click on baby carrots? That's a good one. And here's the item named baby carrots. It's listed as a non-inventory part. I have no idea what that means. It's just kind of how I started doing my QuickBooks, and I've never bothered to change it. Here's the price associated with it, and we can change that price. It's of the account crop sales. So you can see that that's income. So when I add baby carrots to an invoice, it's recorded as income on my P&Ls. But what's most important for the label printer to work is you come up here in the corner, right-hand corner, and you can see this button called Custom Fields. And if we click on that, you can see that I've already added a couple of custom fields to my baby carrot item. And the way I did that is by clicking Define Fields. This window pops up, and I've added max units per carton and units. We saw both of those on the invoice. And so you just come down in here and into one of these empty fields, and you would type units, and then make sure that you click it so that it's in use. And then the same thing with max units per carton, etc. So why don't I uncheck that, since we're not going to use it, we already have it set up. When we click OK, it saves it. You've activated custom fields, that's fine. Now for baby carrots, the unit of a baby carrot that we sell is by the bunch. So I could type bunch in here, or bunches even, but I'm going to keep it short. I'm just going to do BU for bunch. And the reason is, we'll see later, when we're printing our labels, we don't want to have a bunch of extra text causing it to run off the edge. So keep it short and sweet here in units. Now the max units per carton, we pack baby carrots into a 1 1/9 carton, and so I think we'll do 24 bunches per carton, let's say. So we save that, okay. And now that information is saved and it's associated with baby carrots. So we open custom fields back up and we see it's still there. Okay, great. So we're going to save that, and then when we come to an invoice, if instead of baby bok choy we do baby carrots, that should show us the rate that we just established here, which is 2. The units is BU for bunches, and the max units per carton is 24. So if a customer ordered 144 bunches of baby carrots, the label printer would print out 6 labels total. Each label would say 24 bunches of baby carrots. So we'd get the 6 labels from that order of 144. And once again, what we do, come up to the menu, lists, items, brings up our list of items. And no kidding, you have to go through here one by one and make sure that everything is set up. Or I would recommend it, just so that you're not dealing with this in the middle of the day when who knows what's going on. It's just a crazy time. It's best to get it set up when things are a little more relaxed. So come into baby fennel, write down the list, and we could change the price here. We could change the description, and I'll get into that a little bit in another video. But what we really want to do is come into custom fields, and I have this set up already. So we sell our baby fennel by the each, and I think we can cram 24 of those into a 1 1/9, so that looks good. We'll save that. Baby frisee, write down the list, custom fields, and let's say we sell that loose, and we sell that by the case, and we'll pack 2 cases into a carton. Okay, so right down the line, if I come into my invoice and I start to type in baby fennel, you can see that the units comes up as each, and the max units per carton comes up as 24. And I can still change this manually if I needed to. So an example of that would be, baby spinach, let's say. I don't have everything set up, so I could just not bother doing my setup, and every time I made an invoice I could say, all right, we're going to sell 10 cases of baby spinach, and that's a case, and the maximum per carton, the way we pack our cases of baby spinach is again 2 per carton. So this will print us out 5 labels of 2 cases each for this baby spinach. But if I had this set up in the database as cases, and a customer, let's say the customer just wanted 2 pounds, you could manually come through here and change that to pounds, and the max units per carton now becomes 10. We can pack 10 pounds of spinach into a carton. So this will print us out really just 1 label with the 2 pounds of spinach on it. But I do, however, highly recommend coming up into your list of items and going through and just kind of getting it done all at once. Baby lettuce, custom fields, max units per carton. We do baby lettuce by the case, and we do 2 maximum cases per carton. Okay, for the next video, I'll show you how I created this custom invoice.